Hi everybody, it's Heidi back again here with another Ferrero Friday project, and following on from the success of this one last week, which was using the floral framelits, I decided while I'd got the framelits out to play, and so I also came up with this version which I thought looked rather like a camellia, and this one is using the other shaped framelit in the pack, and rather than using the, if you remember in the pack you've got those two which we used for the first one, and then we've also got these ones in there as well. So obviously we'd used the big one already, so I thought, well, what could we do with the small one? So this is what I came up with. Now you'll see that that one, it becomes that size there, but you're thinking, well, where's this one come from? Well, actually it comes from that size as well. So let me show you how I made this one, and I hope that this one will prove as popular as my other one. I say it was really inspired by a sort of a camellia type flower, something more rounded and gentle. And then you'll see I've just popped a couple of the I keep calling it Rose Wonder, it's Rose Garden framelits, and this is the flower, the big rose that comes in this pack. So here are the thinglets, and it's this leaf here off the large rose. So all I've done is I've literally just popped that bit through on a piece of card, so I didn't bother cutting out the rest of it, just the leaf and just two of those. So without further ado, let's get on with our project. So the first thing you need to do is cut two of each of these. Now I've used the very vanilla here, but obviously you could use different colours as well, and I've used a rather pretty colour, which is the new Peekaboo Peach. We hadn't really got a true peach colour before, and Pumpkin Pie was just too orangey and the others were still quite pink, and so this is a lovely colour. I wasn't sure about it at first, but now I've got it for myself, I'm really impressed with it. So the first thing to do then is to actually, we'll do the smaller one, is to cut down, and this is exactly the same principle as the previous one, but I'm not doing any scoring. Literally all you do is to cut probably 3/4 of the way into the middle, and that gives the chance for it to give a really nice sort of curl, and I'm cutting to the opposite line. Just be careful not to go too far to the middle, because you don't want to cut it into the others, and when you come to do the inking, so it makes the petals a little bit more fragile. So that's the first one, and then you're thinking, okay, so the second one, we're first of all just going to round by cutting those tips off. So obviously you could make one a larger one if you wanted to, by doing exactly the same on the bigger one which we used last week, and that one makes this shaped one here. Okay, so again the same principle as the smaller one, just cutting a slight, you'll see I'm cutting a very slight notch. I don't know, somehow it just seems to work better. It enables you just to round those corners off slightly as well. So those thin slivers, just tuck them out of the way. And almost to the end now. Okay, so there we go, there's our two shapes, and I've already done another two because we're now going to ink those up. So I'm bringing in my, I've found my proper blending mat, and this is Peekaboo Peach, and all I'm going to do in order to do the blending is literally dab my ink pad, and it's really juicy because it is so new, and you can see here, I think, how juicy that is. And then all I'm doing is using my blending tool again. You could use a sponge if you prefer. Let's say Stampin' don't do a blending tool, unfortunately, but all I'm doing is going to come in and just blend around the edges of those petals, and that's why I cut them first, because then you get this sort of shading around the edge of the petals rather than having any white edges. And then because we're curling the petals in the opposite direction, I'm just going to ink the very back as well. So that's the smaller one done. And I say you can make this as delicate. You'll see it's still quite delicate on there, or you can come in as I've done with a stronger kind of colour. And then, as I said, because we're going to see sort of both sides of the petal, because we're curling them in rather than out, I'm doing the reverse side of these as well. Okay, so having done those, I'm just going to have a very quick wipe down, otherwise I'm going to be even more covered in ink than I normally manage to get, which is very covered in ink. And then we're going to come in and shape the petals. So if you remember last time we shaped them away from ourselves, this time I'm going to still shape them, but I'm going to come in from the reverse. So I've just turned it over and I'm using the very edge of my bone folder. And try and come in quite close to the centre, but you'll need to support it. And what you're actually doing is breaking down the fibres of the card when you do this. So having curled them up, then with this one, you really want to get a curl. So I'm actually going to come and push those in on themselves, because you can open it out later. So that's the first one. Then you do the other one exactly the same. She says, remembering which is the right side. So again, and you can just see there that I think the fibres, just as I say, you're just breaking the fibres down. Okay, so that's the second one that you're going to do. And having shaped that one again, curl that one up. I've actually done a smaller one. Sorry, that was it. I'd forgotten. Yes, I used the smaller one actually in that one. It's amazing what you forget. Right, there we go. So back to where I was. So we've got one large, one small, and one large already done. So I'm doing the second small here. They look so much smaller once they're curled up. So again, curl those right up on itself. Okay, so that's going to make our second layer. And then the bottom layer, although I've curled it up, I've actually then curled it out slightly as well. So you're going to do exactly the same all the way around to actually make our curl our petals up. And then, as we did with the, having curled them up, I'm just going to curl them out. You know how on a flower, that layer, once it's open, just curls back on itself? It's the very tips, I'm just curling back. Okay, so there are 4 layers. All we need to do now is glue those together. And you can use whatever glue you want. You can use red tape if you want. One of the things I actually find that works really well is to actually use crystal effects, because this actually acts as a glue. So all I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of crystal effects in the centre of 3 of those, and then I'm going to offset those. So you'll see, just making sure that the next petal is, there we go. Just hold that for a few seconds, and then finally our final layer. And obviously, being wet glue, it gives you a little bit more time to kind of play around with those, and it doesn't actually matter if you don't get those central, because well, I say because obviously flowers aren't perfectly symmetrical. So I've got a couple of leaves here, so all I'm going to do is glue those to the underside, and for this I am going to use a little bit of red tape, because what I'm actually going to do is cover it up with a circle afterwards. So all I'm going to do is just put a little piece of tape on each of those leaves. Just a piece on the front stem there. And all I've done with the other one is just punch a circle and glue that on the base, and that actually gives you an idea of the what the actual card looks like as well. So there we go, there's our flower. And what I've done with this one is I actually made it for a very specific purpose, and that's to go with this tin here. So this is a candle tin. So you'll see I've stamped around it here with the birthday blooms. I don't know whether you can quite see with the reflection. I've actually stamped around it and glazed the flowers. Then I've done a candle to match, which obviously just sits in there. And then I'm now going to just put my bloom on the top there. So there you've got a lovely gift of a decorated candle with a matching bloom on the top, and I'm sure that would be a very welcome gift for anybody that loves candles and flowers. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon with some more Ferrero Friday inspiration. Thank you.